Yeah, I'd say so. You said right up here, though?
Yeah.
Hey, find it.
I think it was bedded down. It was in this tall stuff.
Okay.
So,
Without knowing the exact hit side, I'll kind of walk her and see what she does. If I stop, you stop.
okay.
If she stops, we stop.
So the hunter was walking to his stand when a buck stood up out of a bed, and he flung two arrows right at a frontal shot. One he thinks just passed through the neck, and the other one buried into the deer. So when we come out the track, he doesn't know exactly where the deer was standing when he shot, and he does know the deer went across this little opening to the left. So I go ahead and start Diesel.
Right there.
Without knowing a hit site, I kind of just give her a directional.
Find it. Come on, good work. That's him. That's him.
This video is sped up a lot. You can tell my dog is in search mode, kind of checking everything, until she hits this deer trail, where she actually goes right, not left. I know the deer went left because he's already tracked about 300 yards as the crow would fly. But I tell him I'm going to let her kind of go that way and check out what she wants before we kind of turn her and force her the other way, just to see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of
Trust your dog.
Very well too. We trained on one hoof. So this is the first time since January 1st that she's smelled more than a single hoof. She's circling back to this side. She'll come back to me probably. Oh, no, she'll go that way. I'm going to follow her for a minute. I know this way, but sometimes you don't get out of the system, they'll kind of take you for a ride. Yeah. Let's see if she goes. So I got an arrow. Yeah. It's just your lighted knock. Arrow's missing, it's just a lighted knock. Yeah.
So Diesel actually backtracked it to the hit site where we found the lighted knock off of one arrow. And then she kind of checks it out for a while before committing to the line and going to the line.
Right, which is possible. She'll figure it out. Just take some time to hit site. Get you out of the hit site. There you go.
This section right here, there was blood on the ground that was pretty easy to track. And you can tell Diesel just blows through it real quickly. I think that's because the hunters didn't grit it very much. This guy and one other hunter gritted it quite a bit, and the more I think about it, the more I think they gritted it way more than they kind of told me. You can kind of see that with this change of behavior coming up. When I say there's a change of behavior, this is where he said that he lost blood because it started raining, and he actually walked out, and she gets stuck on his boot tracks for a little bit.
Yeah, she's had a change of behavior right there.
So she was working the line, pulling, going, committed to it, and then she kind of stopped, shook off, and turned around and kind of went the opposite direction. Usually that means that something happened here and kind of messed her up or threw her off or something. It's just a change of behavior. Something's different now, so I need to pay attention and remember the spot.
Yeah, here's a big pile of blood. Yeah. Hey. Come on. Wrong way. I'm not doing this all day. Come on.
She almost reset herself all the way back at the hit site, and then she wanted to keep searching that area. Not sure how bad this was gritted, but from this last blood here to his next spot of last blood, is a gap of over 100 yards, and he said he got lucky and found it over there. So I think he was doing a huge grid search and found that last bed, which is at 300 yards, but he actually lost blood around the 150 yard to 200 yard mark.
What's that?
So my dog was
Okay.
really working hard,
But
but I think she was just confused in this grid.
Yeah. Did you walk back out this way when you walked out, or?
I cut through there and went out to nature.
Gotcha. All right. She is circling a lot more than normal.
I follow it right inside the grass, going back that way.
Gotcha. And that's the direct. You found blood that way?
Yeah, all
Okay.
the way back there to the drive time.
If she don't figure it out here in a minute, I'll push her.
Okay. Yeah, but that's kind of where I backed out at when I was raining.
And she's trying hard. See if I can push her a little bit. Come on. Oh. All right, get up that direction. Hey, Diesel.
I was really trying to let her connect the dots between what was his last blood and where he found the last bed / last blood. I know it's kind of confusing, but she just really could not. I think they just gridded it so much. So I decided to kind of push her to that last bed and see what she does.
So you lost it down here?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'll come across right there, drop down and be 11. That's where the full blood is inside your fist, and it was the last blood I got.
Okay. So we're coming up on your last blood.
There was drops all through here.
Okay. Okay. So what happens is that being higher and temperature's cooling off, you're sensing here. So she's on it, she's smelling it, but she's following where the scent's at, not where the footsteps are at. We call it trailing instead of tracking. Okay, well I'm gonna keep following her.
So we get to his real last bed / last blood, and it's like a big bowl in an open area, like a dried up lake. And my dog is kind of working the outer edges of the banks and the low areas, and I'll explain to him that, yeah, this might not be where your deer exactly walked, but this is where scent will build up, so she's kind of got to check it out. And that's exactly what she does.
And if we start taking off, she's committing to it. Do you know if you walked out this way? Okay. Right. Hang on one sec. She might drop back down there. Yep. She didn't like that.
This spot here, the hunter was so sure that the deer would have went out of the dried up lake and walked back in the woods right here. So meaning that his boot traffic was there. My dog followed in there, went probably less than length of lead, checked it out, turned around and came right back in. So I knew that was not the correct exit of this lake area, dried lake area that the deer went.
I'm gonna follow her and see if your deer backtracked.
So I allowed her to go back towards the hit site because I was wondering if the deer backtracked. And she just kept getting stuck in this grid. This happened more than one time. So I eventually decide to pull some tools out of the bag. Instead of restarting her, trying to push her out in like a Wi-Fi symbol way to try and get an alert and maybe get a clean line out of this guy's grid. After our water break, I sweep her on the edge of the low area of this pond, dried up pond. And if you watch, she digs her head in the ground right where I slowed it down, and then she cuts left. It's a good sign that she's on the line. It's not a true head snap, but it's like she found something that she really liked, so she dug her nose in the ground, and then she turned to follow that scent. So I will trust that for quite a ways.
Yeah. I like her behavior too.
The hunter was pointing out that we're on a new line in a clean area, and now I point out how I like my dog's behavior. It's straight line, looks like tracking. We're in good shape here.
You circle back, you find this turn right there. That little circle right there. There's what? Yeah. See, I like her behavior. I think she's on your deer. Yeah. I think she's on your deer. Right. I think she's bracketing this low spot.
So her behavior changes a little bit in here. She starts bracketing a bunch, but we're also in like a low dip. There's banks on the left and right of us, and this low area is about 10 yards wide, and she's just bracketing it the entire way.
And she is committed. This is what I like to see.
She tracks in a straight direction for a long period of time. I'll check the yards towards the end of the video, and I'll skip forward a little bit here.
She's circling a lot in here. I mean, either she's losing it here, which could be the bucks coming down, that gland's going away, or that he was here for a long time and she's trying to work that scent pull out. But this general area is where she's starting to struggle. Huh? Okay. She's taking us that way. Might be. Her behavior hasn't said that we're pushing that deer yet, but we could be pushing that deer.
So the hunter heard a deer snort wheeze, and Diesel is tracking in that direction. But we're on public land. There could be any deer out here, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I do continue to follow my dog and see where it takes us.
Fresh blood. She's on it. We very well could be pushing him right here.
Yeah, I heard him snort wheeze over here.
He's still up. So we're definitely on him. He was down there for a while. That's fresh. That's after the rain. So you're probably right. You probably did just jump him. We can play this a couple of ways. We can try and run him down in a sense and get another shot if he beds down. Or we could have another tracker come out tomorrow morning and try again.
After a long conversation, we decided to have another team come out. I had to work, so I passed it to a team that I consider a mentor. They came out around the 24-hour mark, and they ran quite a ways, and they jumped him again. So he was up and healthy at 24 hours, so they called the track also. From his last bed to this area was about 400 yards, and once we got out of their grid, my dog took off without a problem, and figured it out. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.